Hello everyone, my name is Zeotrex, and today we're doing a review of Scream 6, released in 2023, literally today as I am recording this. Scream 6 tells the story of Samantha and Tara and her friends who survived the Ghostface attack of 2022. This is a direct follow-up to Scream 5. They try to move on with their lives, but guess what? There's another Ghostface out there. So I literally just got back from the theater, so here's all my thoughts about it. This is better than Scream 5. Not to say Scream 5 was a bad movie. I liked Scream 5. I definitely think Scream 5 was a great way to bring back the series. But with Scream 5, that was more so, let's reintroduce this franchise, you know? Because it was just called Scream. Here, this is Scream 6. The other was Scream, this is Scream 6. Scream 6 brings the game up. It finally changes shit around. We finally move away from a small suburban town to a bigger city, and I really like it. So I think all the action is the best part. With Scream 5, we never really got much chase sequences outside of that hospital, and here we get a lot more action, and I do think that they use New York to its potential here. There's like some really stressful moments on a bus, on a subway train with multiple ghost faces. That's not a spoiler. There's many different ghost faces around. And I do think that works out a lot. There's the kills are also much gorier than it's the goriest of the franchise. They really go in there. And the thing with Scream, unfortunately, though, is that they never really do any creative kills. It's all mainly just stabbing, which is a bit unfortunate. At least I think with these newer ones, with these two newer ones, I think they did experiment back then. But yeah. And the characters here, they're great. I love Mindy, Chad, Tara, and Samantha. I love the whole dynamic that those two have. And the legacy characters, Kirby and Gail, are also great. It's like to the point where we don't need David Arquette. Well, we can't have him back. They fucking killed him. And we don't need Sydney Prescott anymore. They gave her a happy ending. Let her rest. Let Ghostface attack new people. So I'm glad that we are moving past that. However, there is something that I didn't notice. Scream was a parody of slasher movies back then. Now it kind of feels like it's becoming what it's making fun of. You know, here it's making fun of franchises. So Scream 5 was talking about requels and toxic fan bases. Here it's franchises and legacy and all of that, and how everything's out the window now. And so yeah, it kind of does feel like a remake, not a remake, a reboot to the franchise, or just like passing the torch with new characters. You got the Sydney, you got the Randy, you got all of these characters, and I definitely think that it works well. Why the fuck am I green? Hold on. I definitely think that it works in its favor. However, again, it does feel like it's becoming what it was parodying, if that makes sense. But still, I think this is a great film. I think the runtime is perfect, with just 2 hours and 2 minutes. It uses that to its absolute advantage. I'm trying to think of what else to say, because we're going to have to get to spoilers in a bit. That is a thing that we're going to have to do, is spoilers. But yeah, I think Scream 6 does a fantastic job with its storytelling. New York does not feel wasted as an environment, and the killer reveals, they do something really interesting with the opening kill. We will get to that in a bit, but the killer reveals were great, except for one of them, which I don't know if saying that is a spoiler, because the killer reveals, just seeing the killer reveals in itself is a spoiler. So I need to talk about spoilers. So to wrap this up, I'm going to give Scream 6 an A. I think it's a great sequel to a pretty good film, and it's a pretty damn good Scream film. So let's get into spoilers. Okay, so let's talk about what I liked and didn't like. Again, the kills were very graphic, and I think one of my favorite kills was the scene where a girl, Annika, is on the ladder, and then Ghostface fucking shakes it, and then she bangs her head. You can fucking see a hole in her head and all that shit. That's brutal. Something that they try to do in this movie is set up a relationship between Chad and Tara, which it's fine, I guess. But another thing that they do as well is they bring back. Oh yeah, ignore my watch, by the way. Another thing that they do is near the end they kind of bring back. They bring back fuck. What was Billy Loomis? They did that in Scream 5. Billy Loomis kind of loomed over the movie. Over the movie. Here he kind of shows up again, and it was great seeing all the old Scream stuff. I really like the idea of this kind of. It's kind of like what they're doing in this movie. It feels like they were exploring that cult of Ghostface idea from Scream 3. With that's what I thought they were going with the opening kill. So with the opening kill, we see that Jason is the killer. Reveal the killer straight up, like in the beginning. That's awesome. Do not like how they just used Samara Weaving as the opening kill, however. Did not like that. But fucking great kill. But I'm really glad on what they did at the beginning. We kind of see, I thought like Ghostface had an influence, like it's starting to have an influence on other people. What he was trying to do was he was trying to become this movie's Ghostface before he got stopped by the real Ghostface. And let me just say, I really like Ghostface's look in this movie. So he has a deteriorated mask, which is something that recent horror movie icons are doing. They have a deteriorating mask. But here it looks really cool, and Ghostface in this movie is a fucking beast, man. By far the scariest Ghostface, however. But, however, once you start to realize how strong this Ghostface is, I immediately put two and two together. So let's get into who the killers are. So, in the beginning, there were these two characters, Jason and Greg, who we barely saw, but we know they were supposed to be killers. Then at the end of the movie, they did something really fucking cool. They had two Ghostface show up. I've always kind of wanted that. I've always wanted two Ghostface in the same scene, like in the Ghostface costume. So that was pretty cool. Also, they tried to make you think, oh, Kirby's the killer. Never thought Kirby would be the killer. Why the hell would she be the killer? And then it turns out that the cop, Officer Bailey, is the killer, which I immediately knew because... How, like, what? So this, like, little white boy, Ethan, who's the other killer, is going to be able to break down the door? Like, what? So I immediately suspected Officer Bailey and Ethan. Those were my two suspects throughout the entire movie. But then they do something I've been wanting Scream to do for a super long time now. A third killer. Yes, and it's something really interesting. A character who died, who we thought died, came back. They did that in Scream 3. They fucking did that in Scream 3. It was Roman. Oops. My bad. So, yeah. But that was pretty interesting how they did that. And also Quinn was a character that we did get to know a bit. Kind of. Wish they kind of explored her a bit, like just showed her a bit more before they decided to kill her off and then have her reappear. And the motive was pretty cool. It's kind of harkening back to Scream 2 with the love interest's family trying to kill the person who killed the love interest, and with everyone being related. However, let's just fucking throw this out of the window. Stu Macher being alive. I think it's really safe to assume that Stu Macher is dead now. For those who somehow don't know, there's a theory going around in the Scream community that Stu Macher is still alive, and they mention it in this movie that Stu might be alive. He still might be out there, but at this point, if he's not like in Scream 7, it's safe to assume that he did die. Something that kind of bugged me with the ending, but I also liked with the ending, was how they copped out of some of the kills. Mindy is stabbed in the train station, which, by the way, was fucking shown in the teaser trailer. I hate that. Stop doing that. Obviously, you're gonna have to show some kills. Then Chad was stabbed. I thought he would die. And then fucking Gale Weathers was stabbed. And I literally sat there like, oh no. Oh no, not Dewey. Don't do it like Dewey. Oh no. Luckily, Gale, Mindy, and Chad all survived. And Kirby as well. Kirby got shot, but she survived. On one hand, I like those characters. Really like those characters. I'm glad Gale lived. I'm glad Mindy and Chad lived. Those were my two favorite characters from the last movie. And also, I really liked Kirby. However, it really felt like copping out by saying, oh, everyone's alive. I felt like Chad should have stayed dead. And so did Gale. I know it kind of would be copying Scream 5 by killing off a legacy character, but I feel like they were kind of scared to kill off Gale. I think with Dewey, it got to the... I think it was like maybe David Arquette wanted it to be his last film. With Dewey in the last movie, I think that was just more of a matter of like, okay, let's be realistic here. Stab, shot, stab, stab, stab. He has to die. But I'm glad Gale's alive. Although I do wish we saw her at the end. That's something I didn't like what they did, is that they didn't show her like at the end. Mindy just ran up and screamed like, hey guys, who was the killer? All this. I think the meta stuff was also done really well. And not much else I can mention. I think all the references to the past were pretty good, and again, all the chase sequences were great. The small little hallway and all that was pretty fun. But that's it. That's my review of Scream 6. I wanted to do a Scream marathon, a Scream review marathon before this, but I just never found the time to. Life got busy. So, until then, let me know. Hold on. Next review is going to be John Wick 4, by the way. Just letting you know. I know I said I didn't watch the John Wick films, but we're on part 3 right now. Until then,